How's it going, everybody? C-RadTV back here in our NFL draft preview for the Lions. So, of course, in the last Lions NFL draft preview, we took a look at the top linebacker prospects in rounds 1 of the 2023 NFL draft. And in this one, we're going to wrap up the round 1 draft previews by taking a look at the top defensive back and safety prospects for rounds 1 of the 2023 NFL draft, including the big 3 corners in this draft class. So we're going to go over that and some of the top safety prospects to keep an eye on to see who the Lions should target at, since, even though the Lions have pretty much done a good job stockpiling in the secondary, bringing in Cam Sun, bringing in Emmanuel Mosley, and also bringing in C.J. Gardner-Johnson, it doesn't hurt to have another person in there too. Especially with Warrior gone, and with Okuda's status still up in the air, whether if the Lions are going to take his 5th-year option or not, better have somebody back there, too, to help stack that secondary up and turn it into a strength. But, yeah, we're going to go over the big 3, since corner's still in play at 6, and it should be in play at 18. But, yeah, we'll go over the top corner prospects and see who the Lions should target it. So, let's go. So, starting off with corners. The first one we're going to go over here, hailing out of Penn State. Standing 6'2", weighing 194 pounds, we got Joey Porter Jr., So for Joey, his strengths, he immediately noticed the freakish length and frame is already promising for an NFL corner. Has a reported 35-inch arm span, makes him a nightmare for wide receivers. He consistently finds ways in the catch windows to break up plays. His length also helps in terms of recovery. Plenty of speed, ability to make up ground with long strides, incredible reach, which helps him cover a ton of ground in a short time. Plenty of ball skills as well. Timing jumps to perfectly deflect passes out from in front of the receiver's hands. In terms of his weaknesses, though, his incredible frame, but he lacks fluidity of other top corners in the NFL. Nuanced receivers may take advantage of given the open field to operate, and Porter will need to be properly schemed to avoid that. At the snap, he has a tendency to sit back on his ankles, leaves him flat-footed. Often got away with it in the college game, but needs it ironed out at the next level in the NFL, since NFL is a lot different from college ball. Tendency to hook his assignment of being pressured with quickness. It can be effective to limit big plays, but it can't be a constant habit, or he will be picked on. He has improved tremendously in this aspect compared to his 2021 tape. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to free agent corner Xavier Rhodes, so a lot of things to like for him for sure. I watched a lot of his tape, liked what I watched from him. 100% he would be in play at 6, and I think out of the big 3 corners, I think he is the one most likely to be at the Lions pick at 18. The Lions might have to trade up for him, maybe not. Like I mentioned back before the season ended in my little C-Rad Creed thing. I think at 18 take a corner with that pick. Might have to trade up for your guy, and I called that I would go Joey Porter Jr. So yeah, Joey Porter Jr. is someone I like for sure. I would not have a problem taking him in the first round. Maybe at number 18 if he falls down there, might have to trade up for him. But definitely someone I'm interested in. So the next corner we're gonna go over here, hailing out of Oregon, standing 6'2", weighing 200 pounds, we got Christian Gonzalez. So for Christian, he's your prototype coverage corner, so he's very good in coverage. In terms of strength, he's explosive at the line of scrimmage, flies out of his stance, whether it's working vertically, downhill, laterally, glides across the field, it don't matter, he does it all. Great frame, quality length, excellent athletic profile, can get buy-in regardless of his coverage skills, but that's good too. Uses his athleticism to his advantage, baits QBs into throwing his way and makes them suffer for it. Aggressive downfield mover, can make a tackle and provide consistent run support. His man coverage is his specialty. He also can play well in any defensive scheme you got. In terms of his weaknesses, though, he's still green, but it's easy to get by on natural ability. In the NFL, he will need to be technically sound. As a tackler, he flies in and makes way too many plays out of frame. In NFL, he'll need to be centered onto the ball carrier in order to make a stop. Won't be able to bait some QBs as their arm talent will allow them to see a tiny crease and make a throw he can't defend. So he needs to be better if he's going to bait him. Needs to be more aggressive going up for the ball. Plays with a lot of finesse, but with receivers getting more physical, his positioning is going to be the biggest key in technique as well. Right now, he doesn't have much for that. In terms of work, in terms of his NFL comparison, he's big compared to Jamal Dean of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so a lot of things to like out of him for sure. Few things so he's got to clean up, but there's always room for improvement. Like, 100%, I think out of the big three corners, I think he's the most likely to go first off the board. Like, he is an option for the Lions at 6. I've seen a lot of mocks with him going at 6 to the Lions. You know, I would consider him as a good option. I'd be okay with taking him at 6 if the Lions aren't sold on Jalen Carter, if they want to address defensive line later in the draft. But I think if you're going to take Gonzalez, you either got to take him at 6 or you have to trade up immediately from 18 because there's no way in hell he'll fall to 18. Like, not a chance in hell he falls to 18. You know, if they want to take him with their other first round pick, they're going to have to trade way up to get him. Either that or take him at 6. You know, it all depends on what happens with how their visit with Jalen Carter goes. But yeah, I would have him in play for 6 as a plan B. The next corner we're going to go over here, it's the last one of the big three. We got hailing out of Illinois, standing 6 feet tall, weighing 180 pounds. We got Devin Witherspoon. So for Devin, he's a prototype read and react corner. In terms of strengths, he flies around with electricity and suddenness to track top end receivers. Not just straight line speed, he also flies all around the field with ease. Hangs around his assignment's pocket, ready to disrupt the pass window. Loves to get physical in coverage. Has a nice offsetting punch at the line of scrimmage to throw the receivers off route and get a leg up on the snap. He maintains his balance through contested coverage and keeps his momentum working through the play. In terms of his weaknesses, though, he still needs some filling out. He's an energetic, but he gets overpowered at times, and that will keep happening until he adds on another 10 to 15 pounds. He's capable of zooming around the field, but still needs a lot of development and polish in order to unlock his full capabilities. Got away with it in college, but when he is tasked with sticking to high-level targets at the next level, he needs better footwork and cleaner mirroring and man coverage. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Kendall Fuller of the Washington Commanders. And I should mention one more thing about Witherspoon real quick. Witherspoon used to be Kirby Joseph's teammate at Illinois when Kirby was still there last year. But yeah, you know, a lot of things to like from Witherspoon's game. You know, a lot of things I like for sure, you know. Plus, with him being teammates with Kirby Joseph, you know, you got some familiarity right there for the secondary for a good combo right there. You know, 100%, I think he could fall to 18. I highly doubt it, though. Like, I think if the Lions want to take him with their other first-round pick, they would 100% have to trade up for Witherspoon. But, you know, if the Lions aren't sold on Gonzalez and if they want Witherspoon instead of Joey Porter, then I would be 100% on board with it. I'd be okay with any of the big three corners, to be honest. But, yeah, I would have him on the board for sure. I think the Lions would have to trade up for him, though. Or take him at 6, you know, whatever the Lions think is the right call. You know, I'll trust Brad Holmes, whatever he does. So the next corner we're going to go over here, hailing out of South Carolina, standing 6 feet tall, weighing 188 pounds. We got Cam Smith. So for Cam's strengths, he's an energized run defender, will come down with a head of steam and light up runners. Snaps out of turns, can close to the catch point with shocking speed. Good react quickness when he works from zones. Adequate length for the position. Drive through tackler, can land cleanly. Won't need help. Traits suggest he can be effective at both man and zone coverage. He's fluid enough with flipping his hips to turn and run in man. Has good build-up speed once he gets going. In terms of his weaknesses, though, his technique lacks, and he will sweep walk through his back pedal a bit. You know, diving tendencies as a tackler. Limited ball production. He'll set off some red flags for analytic gurus. But his average foot quickness will limit some of his adjustments. Lateral agility is acceptable, but will lead to some issues against quick releases. For his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Kyle Fuller of the Baltimore Ravens. So, a lot of things to like out of his game for sure, but, you know, analytic nerds might not like him, no. But, you know, maybe someone to keep an eye on for sure. So, the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Georgia, standing 6'2", weighing 205 pounds, we got Keely Ringo. So, for Keely's strengths, he has a rare blend of size and speed for the position. Capable of carrying receivers vertically, can go in stride for stride with top-end wideouts. Twitching movements can help him explode out of his pedal when he changes directions laterally. His physical tools stand out regardless of his scheme, and he looks the part getting right off the bus. His strength flashes when he has the willingness to be there. Is able to maintain stride and stay in a hip pocket while tracking the ball. Consistently gets his head around to find and play the ball. Easy strides will help him to make up for lost ground. In terms of his weaknesses, though, he's not efficient taking on blocks or playing through them. doesn't always play up to his size as a tackler. He can get hung up a little bit in transition against top-end athletes. His back pedal's tight, a bit choppy rather than fluid. He faced an adjustment to playing true press coverage. He will watch and wait when playing downhill rather than getting involved. Makes too many business decisions at a tackler. The scouts worry about his inconsistent tendencies, but his lacks patience in his technique. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to C.J. Henderson of the Carolina Panthers. But, so overall, a lot of things to like out of his game, but a lot of things, though, that has to get better. He has to be a lot more consistent and a little more patient when everything. But maybe someone will take a gamble on. There'll be something maybe a couple years down the road. Maybe someone to keep an eye on if he falls to the second round, maybe. We'll have to see. But maybe someone to keep an eye on. And the final corner we're going to go over in this video before we move on to the safeties. We got hailing out of Maryland, standing 6'2", weighing 205 pounds. We got Deonte Banks. So for Deonte's strengths, he has a great frame with long arms and physical play to handle the outside. Works vertically, has quality strides, can match the speed of an outside receiver, plays the boundary with the speed to eliminate catch space. When the ball's in his air, he showcases impressive instincts, does a good job keeping his head in position to read the QB, paces himself well to make a play at the catch point, and he disrupts passing lanes. In terms of his weaknesses, though, has the athleticism to handle himself in quarters, but he struggles when tasked with tracking his man across the field. Not shifty enough, not to have inside help, can at times get beaten at the stem of his routes by twitchier assignments. He must improve as a tackler. There's a lack of effort and technical issues that result in him struggling to provide run support or limit yards at the catch. That could make him more scheme-dependent, which will make his value across the week vary. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Carlton Davis of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so a lot of things to like out of him for sure. A few things, though, that's going to be work in progress, If he fits Aaron Glenn's scheme, though, maybe someone to keep an eye on, especially if he falls in the later round, in second or third round, maybe. But, yeah, maybe someone to keep an eye on for sure. Now moving on to safeties. The first safety we're going to go over here, hailing out of Alabama, standing 6 feet tall, weighing 193 pounds. We got Brian Branch. So for Brian, he's a prototype closing and recovering safety. So very good at closing and on a play and recovering. In terms of his strengths, he's an impressive tackler, rarely slides off contact. He's comfortable working near the line of scrimmage. Has the mass and temperament to work in the box. He's light on his feet, shows regardless of what direction he moves in. Very patient with positioning, won't rush his adjustments. Has a smooth back pedal, allows him to strike downfield without any limitations. Can function in both man and zone at a high level. Lateral agility, body control, helps him shed blocks, get off in the run game. Consistently gets the ball and impacts it in the air thanks to his burst. Valuable blitzer when he comes off the edge. Could make it work as a corner if needed. So there's some versatility there to where he can work anywhere in the secondary. In terms of his weaknesses, though, still learning how to use his length to disrupt routes and make receivers uncomfortable. Will need some time to adjust to playing as a deep safety after playing much of his career at Alabama as a nickel corner. Can be late to recognize play action and leaves it behind him on a schedule on occasion. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Justin Reid of the Kansas City Chiefs. So a lot of things to like out of him, especially that versatility to where you could use him as a Swiss Army knife in the secondary and put him anywhere in there, from corner, safety, or hell, even nickel. To be honest, maybe someone to keep an eye on at 18 if we want to go a wild card option if we're not sold on any of the corners, on any of the big three corners, and we want to go a different route. Maybe Brian Branch could be that option. Someone definitely keep an eye on for sure. And the final safety, the final defensive back, the final player in the secondary, the final player we're going to talk about in this video, we got hailing out of Alabama, standing 6'1", weighing 210 pounds, we got Jordan Battle. So for Jordan, he's a prototype run support safety, so he's very good at supporting in the run game. In terms of strength, has a great frame that fits the mold for an NFL safety, takes good angles as a run defender, reliable tackler, doesn't need help to bring down anyone, drives through his targets well, has a good form as a tackler, good hit fluidity, can pivot and redirect himself in coverage, sits through traffic well, has the lateral movement skills to evade blocks, he plays through contact at the high level, he's able to shed blocks against most tight ends and receivers, his instincts and quick processing ability shows up in both the run and pass game. Positioning's better than most safety prospects in this draft class, and he rarely has a bad attempt as a tackler. terms of his weaknesses, though, he's not athletically gifted enough to match up against receiving tight ends in man coverage. His average long speed can lead to some issues when he's targeted downfield. He can get caught being too cautious on occasion when he tries to read QB, so he'll have to be a little bit more aggressive. Has low ball production, which matches up with his style of play. His ball tracking ability seems average. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Xavier McKinney at the New York Giants. There's a lot of things to like from his game for sure. A lot of things I watched on tape from him. Liked what I watched out of him. Very good. And for some reason, he usually keeps falling to the third round of the draft, which I don't understand why he's down in the third round for most mock drafts. It's what is he doing wrong that nobody knows about? What is he doing that's making him fall down there? But hey, if he falls down, 100% I have him on my board for maybe potentially the third round if he falls down that far. Might have to trade up for him maybe in the third round, or maybe take him on one of the second round picks. But definitely someone I have on my board to consider for sure. I like Jordan Bell a lot. There's a lot of things I like out of him for sure. I would consider him on the board. But yeah, anyway, that'll wrap it up here for this Detroit Lions 2023 NFL Draft Preview. And that wraps it up for all the Round 1 draft previews, as I covered everything the Lions should address in Round 1. Because 100% I think the Lions with those 2 first-round picks should address defense on both picks. There's a lot of good prospects in this class I like, maybe Jordan Battle in the later rounds, and of course the big 3 corners, the Joey Porter, Christian Gonzalez, and Devin Witherspoon. To be honest, though, I think 100% they should consider one at 18 if they do indeed take Jalen Carter at 6. And out of those 3, I think the one most likely to fall at 18 is Joey Porter. Because I think Christian Gonzalez will be the first one to go off the board. For Gonzalez and Witherspoon, you either have to take them at 6, or you have to immediately trade up from 18. And I think Gonzalez goes top 10. I see Witherspoon going in at least the early teens. And but Joey Porter, I think Joey Porter could go fall to 18. They might have to trade up a few spots into maybe the mid-teens to get him, though. They might have to, they may not have to, You never know how the draft works, because the draft is such a total fucking crapshoot. But, that's the mystique of the draft. It's so fucking unpredictable. Especially when you get later on in the draft with how unpredictable it gets. But yeah, that wraps it up for the Round 1 draft previews. I'll be starting the Round 2 draft previews, going over all the main things the Lions should target in Round 2 of the draft. But yeah, definitely some good prospects to keep an eye on. But yeah, anyway, that'll wrap it up here. That's all I gotta say, and I'll see you whenever I make next. Peace.